So, as I talked about on yesterday, and a little bit last Thursday about the kind of the plan for the rest of the term. More than likely, I'm going to be done with the vascular chapter on Thursday. Okay. What I'm probably going to do is have the lab on Monday. Should be the heart dissection and EKGs, which that's pretty much all we're going to go over. And then the test will be on Tuesday. So normally, if I don't have a test, on a Monday where you had the whole weekend, but since you're already going to have the whole weekend, this allows me, if for some reason I don't get through the all of the vascular, then it'll be just a small amount that I cover on Monday, and then the exam will be on Tuesday. We'll go over the exam on Wednesday, start the lymphatics, and then the next 3 classes after that should be the immune system, and then that gives us that one day that I want between the end of the immune system and the beginning of your final, which is that final Thursday of the 8th week. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of time to prepare. All right, blood vessels. So this is kind of the overall shape, or what you should be thinking about when I talk about the circulatory system, the heart with the vascular system, and this circuit that it makes. So here's my pumps. I think we're pumping blood forward, it's going to come back to the heart. These processes that you see are going to be, our exchange vessels are here, arteries taking blood to the exchange vessels. This is where we deliver, again, specifically to the tissue cells themselves. The example I used the other day was, again, if I was a flight attendant, instead of throwing the peanuts at you, I'm going to walk down the aisle, I'm going to hand the peanuts to you. Instead of having you throw the garbage at me at the end, I'm going to walk down with my bag, and you're going to, so I have that intimate exchange with each individual cell. Okay, that's what capillaries do. And then I'm going to obviously bring everything back to the heart via the venous system. So we'll talk about each one of these. Just to kind of give you the lowdown, this is our lymphatic system here, and this is what we will talk about in the day after the exam. It's our sewer system. So anything that leaked out of, so in other words, if I'm going to come by and pick up your trash, and let's say some of you either threw it at me or just dropped on the ground, then I'm going to have a different system come by later on and pick up everything off the ground. That's essentially what the lymphatic vessels do. So they generally are represented in green in most anatomy diagrams. It's just an arbitrary color. And how it kind of correlates with the blood vessels. Now, our blood vessels have essentially the same makeup to them. Okay? And the same general makeup is going to be these 3 layers. So if you go back to A&P 1 when we talked about histology, when I talked about histology, and we got into connective tissue. Okay, there were always 3 things that were specific to connective tissue. Okay, so we had the ground substance, we had the fibers, and we had the cells. And the analogy I used was making a lasagna. Okay, a lasagna's always got 3 components: sausage, pickles, cheese. So I can make a really, really good marinara sauce or meat sauce with some Parmesan and some mozzarella, or I can take some disgusting little green stuff that has spinach in it and no meat, and it's still a lasagna, isn't it? It's not as good because you got to have meat in something. That's the way it works in life. But those are the 3 things. We have the exact same 3 things in every one of our blood vessels. It just depends on the composition of it. Okay? So we've got the tunica intima. Sometimes this is referred to as the tunica interna, simply because it's on the inside. Okay, now your book uses intima because it has an intimate contact with the blood. So this is the layer that's